So I got some pamphlets from the Open Islam Day a few days ago, and now that I've had time to read them, um, I think they're pretty basic. A lot of the information I already knew, so it was just a basically review of what I've already learned. But one thing was new, and I definitely picked this one up on purpose because um, I don't really know a lot about it, and there's a lot of misconceptions about it. So it's the women's rights in Islam one, and it was really cool reading this and about it talks about gender equality, families, and women's rights. And so I'm just going to jump right into it. There's I know a lot of people back home that are going to have or expect to have arranged marriages, or they have to marry someone that their parents approve of, or that are in their Muslim community, like the close community. So this paper says that this is a cultural practice and has no basis in Islam. In fact, it's prohibited. And that's talking about forcing the parents forcing their daughters into marriage, or having arranged marriages. So I thought that was really interesting, because I've seen that with people my age, and I didn't really know if it was part of the Islamic culture specifically, or from their home country, or their cultural heritage. So I wasn't sure. Another, I think, really great thing is it talks about equal yet different, and it says things about how women and men have different strengths and different weaknesses, and they approach things differently. And it talks about the scientific research about it, about the difference between males and females. But it says it would be foolish to treat both the genders the same and to ignore their differences. Islam teaches that men and women have complementary yet different roles because it is best suited to their nature. So I think that's really cool because, um, in the mosques, they have a separate room for men and a separate room for women, and you don't, and you're like, well, is that really treating them equally? And I know that's not, because their strengths and weaknesses, that's a whole different ball game. But there's a lot of separations, and you just question, well, why is that? So I think that was really interesting to read. And then they also talk about the family, and the different roles of women and men in the family unit. And it says that the men are responsible for the financial support of the family and financial well-being, while the woman contributes to the physical, emotional, and educational well-being of the family. So it says it encourages cooperation rather than competition. So they each are filling a role that best suits how they are and they were created to be. So I think that goes along with before the equal yet different ideas. And lastly, it says mistreatment of women in some Middle Eastern countries or Muslim families is due to cultural factors that some women wrongly follow, not because of Islam. And you see on the news all the time about the mistreatment of women in the Middle East, and you think how sad, and you automatically associate it to Islam because Islam is the major influencing religion in those countries. And it's really hard to make the distinction between Islamic culture and those cultures, because their influences are so powerful. And so I think in all that I've read, it's so far it's all pro women's rights and pro equality, and it's saying that this mistreatment is wrong and it has nothing to do with Islam. So I don't think a lot of people know that, and I think that's something that I can apply to a classroom. Well, all of this is in that dealing with the children in my class who are Muslim or Muslim parents, and not, I guess, judging them and expecting mistreatment or inequalities in the family, because as a teacher you should be working with the parents, I think, to teach their child, and you should have that contact between the parents and yourself. So I think that's something to keep in mind, and not coming in with all these expectations of how you think their family works when it's really not like that. Yeah. So yeah, those are just some of my thoughts on one of these pamphlets. So yeah, I think it was really interesting to read all of them and see what's really part of the Islamic culture, and what they say is not, and what they say is wrong and right, as part of the misconceptions of Islam.